I'm Stacie. I am the genealogist, family historian of the family. I took it over from Aunt Kathy, who took it over from her Aunt Marie, great Aunt Marie, who was George McKay's sister, so our great Aunt Marie. I had the pleasure of getting to meet her and talk with her. She told me lots of fun stories that are in the book, and so I'm just continuing the passion.
Yeah. And what are you excited about for the reunion?
For the reunion, just obviously just sharing the information. I mean, that's really why most genealogists do it, is to share with the family. We don't do it, just to keep it to ourselves. It's exciting for us, and so we want to share it. But then also meeting people I've never met before. So I've seen your name 100,000 times in my tree. So now I'm excited to put people with the names, and then just share family stuff.
Cool. And then what do you need from people coming and also from people not coming to the reunion?
So either or. I've pretty much exhausted all the sources on Ancestry.com. They don't really have a lot of new things that are going to help us because we're dealing with almost 100% Irish families, and there just isn't anything that Ancestry can do. The exciting new technology that's coming through is in DNA matching, and that's where, if there's no records from where they came from in Ireland, with DNA matching we'll be able to jump across the pond and find out where in Ireland they're from, even though there's no sources or existing records.
Is there anything paper trail wise that you're still looking for? Like, do you have basically everybody's middle names, married, dates of birth, and...
I do have most of that information. Most everybody I've invited to our tree on Ancestry.com, because like I said, it's not for me, it's for everybody. So if you don't have an invitation to log in, or I can send you an invitation to log in and you can check your information. It won't show living individuals, but I pretty much have everybody's information that I need, and if I don't, I'll contact you and get that information from you. If you want me to send you your own, I can send you an email with your family group sheet, which basically has you, your spouse, the kids, and parents and things like that. I can always email that to you, so it's a little bit more private, and then you can always send it back if you want to, with the marriage dates and places and birth dates and things like that. The only thing I'm lacking that I'm going to send off for, and I have to send off to the state of New York for it, is marriage, birth, and death for some of our ancestors that I don't have that yet. So Grandma and Grandpa McKay, I'm going to I'm going to send in for their birth certificates and their marriage certificate. And then also great Grandpa McKay, his death, it turns out, falls right after when they started having certified death records. So I'm going to send off for his, so hopefully we can learn his parents' names finally.
So if anybody had information on those two generations back, then that would be helpful.
That would be helpful, but it's I'm not sure that anybody will, because it's...
Yeah, if you haven't found it, then it probably doesn't...
Yeah, you have to mail off $25 for each.
Oh, right, yeah, okay. Is there any other paper trail stuff then? It sounds like you have most of what you need.
Most of the paper trail stuff I have, but if you have documents or photographs or anything you'd like to share, feel free to email them to me. You can send them to my email address at Stacie McKay, STACIEMCKAY @gmail.com. And you can send me any documents that you have, and then if it's a duplicate, that's fine, and I'll file it away, and if not, then that's more than I can add to our tree. Photos, especially older photos, photos that you cherish, that would be great too. There is one other thing I do want to talk about. Mm-hmm. One of the things I want to do is have a tree on the wall for everybody, so that everybody can see where we're all connected and how we're all connected to the McKay line. So one of the things that I would like to do is add photographs to that tree. So what I would really like is an individual photograph of each person in your family. But if you have a picture of like you and your wife, or you and your husband, and then you have pictures of the kids, then you could send me just you and your spouse, and then the kids' photo together. But ideally it would be great to have each individual picture, and it doesn't have to be great quality. It can be just a candid day in the life shot. It doesn't have to be school pictures or formal pictures of any kind. Just any kind of a snapshot that you have that focuses on that one person, so we can put a photo tree together. And it will pretty much just be for the people that have been invited, because our tree is very, very wide, and so I'm only going to do a concentrated photo tree for us, and then I'll try and sketch out like the bigger tree for us. But the photo tree will be just us, basically, the cousins and the aunts and uncles and family.
Is there anything we can do long term to help you with all of this genealogy stuff? Other than like paying for like a monthly, or a year of Ancestry.com, is there anything else that we can help you with?
The only other thing, and I would probably not do Ancestry.com since we've exhausted those, but Find My Past, or there's a rootsireland.ie. They actually have more records for overseas than Ancestry does. So that might be helpful, but really just stay interested and pass it on to the kids. That's really, because eventually I'll have to pass it off to someone. And so it would just help if there was some other person in the family that's interested in it. And as long as folks are interested in it, I'll keep doing it. It's fun. I enjoy it. So obviously I'm not going to stop. But if you guys are still enjoying it, then that's all I need to know, because then I'll just keep sharing. I mean, unless you happen to be in Saratoga Springs sometime for whatever reason and want to visit the courthouse, I can give you instructions on what to look for.
Or maybe list a couple of those kinds of
yeah,
things.
so I know Saratoga County and Schenectady County, just because they're so far from Rochester, I haven't made it over those counties yet. There may not be records there, I'm not sure, but if you happen to find yourself in those areas and want to go lurking around in dusty libraries and court records, then I can tell you exactly what we're looking for.
What about Ireland? Do you have the same thing in Ireland that you would love?
In Ireland, actually I went, I was fortunate enough to go on a trip to Ireland. My mom and dad and my sister Heather sent me there for my 40th birthday, and unfortunately there's not a lot of records there yet because we don't know where in Ireland. And in Ireland, it's not just enough to know the county, you also need to know exactly what town or village that they were in order to start looking for records. So there's not a place to start yet because I don't know where in Ireland they're from. So until I get that part of it, hopefully with the DNA that'll help, because if there's 10 different families that we match with and they have found what county and what town that the family is from, then that would help me jumpstart where to start looking for records.
Great.
We're kind of at a loss with Ireland.
And so is it different for the males of the family and the females of the family?
So there's 3 different types of DNA tests. There's the autosomal DNA, which is the cheaper one, which is a mix of everybody. It has both mom and dad in there, and it's the one that you'll see on special for Mother's Day and Father's Day and Christmas for $69 or whatever. And so that's just a good general all-around DNA, and you can do things with that. And so if you choose to go that route, that's fine. And it doesn't matter if you use Ancestry, MyHeritage, or 23andMe. Those are the 3 big testing companies. And then you'll get your results, basically your little ethnicity breakdown, which is not 100% scientific, so don't freak out about that, because if you submit your DNA to all 3 companies, you'll get 3 completely different results. And so that one's fine, but then there's a way to download your raw DNA, and then there's a program out there called GEDmatch, and that you can upload your raw DNA, and it doesn't matter which testing company, and you can match it chromosome by chromosome to other people. And so I've just, in the little bit that I've learned how to do in the last 2 months, I have found we have DNA connections with people who are still in Ireland, which is really exciting. And then a gentleman in Australia who is pioneering a visual pairing spreadsheet to help map out your chromosomes and figure out like exactly where people match, whether it's the maternal side of the family or the paternal side of the family. And he's actually also DNA related to us, we think, through the McKay line, which is really kind of cool. Because most, when they when they left Ireland, they usually either went to the United States or Australia. So we probably have relatives in Australia, which hopefully I get to go visit one day. But then there's also other deeper tests that are a little bit more expensive than the autosomal DNA, and those are geared for male and female. So the McKay, the gentleman in our family with the McKay name, they can do a Y-DNA test, and it basically, they can trace the paternal line. So it would be them, their father, like great-grandpa or Grandpa McKay, and then to great-grandpa McKay, and it just traces that male line. And they also do one-name studies with that raw DNA, and so we could enter into a McKay DNA one-name study, just a McKay study with the DNA. Being a female, I can't do that. I can only do my maternal line. So for me personally, it would be my mother, and then my grandmother Theron and my great-grandmother Mary, which is not the McKay side of the family. But so Judith and Kathleen, Maureen, and Colleen could do it, and we could trace the Monahan side, or at least grandma's side all the way back. So you can trace paternal lines all the way back or maternal lines all the way back. And the maternal test is an mtDNA. So Y for male, M for female, maternal, that type of thing. But the autosomal one is also just as good, especially for cousins and siblings and things like that, because we can do a lot of really cool matching with that.
And how would, if I got this done, how would I share my results with you?
So you can either set up your own account on one of the 3 testing sites, or you can just contact me and I can set up the account. When you download the DNA, your raw DNA, and I have instructions on how to do it on all 3 accounts, you can either download it and then send the raw DNA to me. It downloads in a zip file. Or if you prefer to have control over it yourself, then you can download it and I can send you instructions on how to upload it to GEDmatch, and then I would just need like your kit number is what they call it. But if not, if you don't want to mess with it at all and just you want me to go to work and go to town, then you can just send me the raw DNA and I can upload it and I can manage the information. And so, and this is all just for family. Now, most of these sites become really strict with their privacy policies regarding DNA information. So it's in safe hands. I mean, my dad's a cop and I don't think he would let me do anything with it anyway. So he trained us well. But it's for family information, and it's just to kind of try and bridge that gap where there are no records. There's no physical records, no birth records, death records, and things like that, to bridge that gap to where exactly in Ireland that we're from. And then hopefully connect to family on that side of it, and then we could go further back with the tree.